Call on Laura McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This image is a naked image of me, but it is not real. This image is what we call a deep fake. It took me less than 5 minutes to make a series of deep fakes of myself. Scaringly, it was a quick Google search for the technology of what's available. Hundreds of sites. When you type in deepfake, nudify, into the Google search with your filter off, hundreds of sites appeared. The rise in sexually explicit material and deepfakes has become a huge issue. As our party's education spokesperson, not only do I hear the concerns of parents, but I hear the concerns of teachers and principals where this trend is increasing at an alarming rate. This worrying trend is becoming more prevalent. With this available tech readily available to use, anybody can use it. In fact, I didn't need to enter an email address, I just had to tick a box to say I was 18 and that it was my image and I could use it, which is pretty scary, to be honest. It wasn't on an app that I downloaded, because actually the App Store has a pretty good available filter to actually deal with quite a few of these things. It was just on our internet, not the deep dark web. For the victims, it is degrading and devastating. It even gives me the ick having to stand here in Parliament and hold up a photo of myself, knowing that it's not me, but that it looks exactly like me. And this technology is getting better and better every single day. Creating and posting deepfake porn without consent is a form of image-based abuse. Vaughan Corlate, the president of the Secondary Principal School Association, said, "It's not as low level and as simple as the perpetrator might think it is. It's not cheap entertainment, it's life-damaging work." Catherine Abel-Patterson of NetSafe is quoted as saying, "Every day we answer the phone and we have suicidal people on the other end because stuff like this has been sent and it's not them." While researching for this bill, I heard stories, mostly from youth and nearly always female. All talked about the lack of consequence or support for victims and schools for this type of bullying and abuse. In a news report last year, it talked about 2 schools reeling from the spread of social media of deepfake pornographic images of their students. 15 of those students were at a school in North Canterbury, quite close to me. Around 50 at another location have asked to not be named. One story I have heard of this happening is to a migrant student who not only was humiliated and degraded by it, it was also culturally crippling and devastating. This young girl, Mr. Speaker, went on to self-harm as a coping mechanism to deal with the effects of this trauma. Current legislation does not keep up with this tech and the world we live in. There is a grey area, and we haven't defined the use of AI for synthetic sexually explicit content, images, or content that provides providing harmful internet intent without this clarification, and it needs changing. I have a members' bill that is in the tin right now that we could actually close this gap. I think that everybody across this House would find how alarming this could be. This may not be limited to just celebrities anymore, or potentially politicians. This could be your child, this could be your colleague, this could be your friends, or anyone within your whānau. This Parliament, no matter what side of the political spectrum you come from, must act now to protect our most vulnerable. This also leads me to the other issue currently being discussed amongst politicians, parents, schools, and our youth, is the possibility of a social media ban. And as a parent, I find it extremely worrying the effects that social media may be having on my children. They very thankfully are not on social media. And I really welcome this House to have a deep and thorough debate. And I think it's important to see that today that there is a select committee that is opening a type of inquiry into this. And I think it's extremely important that we all engage in this. But what we want to do and what we must do is we must make sure that we get the right settings in place. We don't just act out of fear and concern and just rush in a piece of legislation that may not work. We need to think about how we can best protect our children, our youth going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.